Alright.
Good evening. Today I can come outside and put my back to the sun because the sun is being covered up by a bunch of thick clouds. We got a storm rolling in. I got a white dog that wants to go in, but she's not going to go in. She's to find her way around somewhere else. You'll probably see her. She's going to do her patrol. Anyway, today I'm here with the cask strength for you guys. I bought the other day, well, it's been a month or so ago. I bought the Glengoyne Cask strength, 59.8%. Glengoyne means Glen of the Wild Geese. Had it several times. Whiskey Neighbor did a video where he compared it to two contemporaries. I think GlenDronach was one, and I can't think of the other one. I know which one it is. You have to forgive me. I can't remember Whiskey Neighbor off the top of my head, even though I want to say Kilkerran, but Kilkerran's not it. I got an ant on my arm. But I'm going to do an older Aberlour Abuna 44. The Aberlour I did the review with now many years ago, a couple of years ago or so, 3 years ago, was a 46. This is a batch number 44, but the reason I chose it was it's 59.7, this is 59.8. Neither one of them has age statements. Non-chill filtered on the Abuna, unchill filtered and cask strength on the Glengoyne, and natural color. I'm not sure if it says natural color. Not sure about that with the Abuna. I never really thought about that. It doesn't state it. I don't have the tin for it anymore. You'll have to excuse me. We had Mexican for dinner. Anyway, this is batch 006 on the Glengoyne. I think I paid 68 or $69 for it. Maybe $67.99. I think it's $67.99. What's 68 for practical purposes? Beautiful packaging. Glengoyne makes good stuff. Now it's really that was 2 hours ago, and it's still starting to have a shine on me. But we'll give a little bit in glass here to it. I'm not going to use these. These are, by the way, amber glass. They come from Poland. I bought a couple of them a few years ago. I use them occasionally. I actually like them. They work very well. To me, just as good as a Glencairn. Holds a little less alcohol, so you still get the same effect, a little less going down the hatch. I think I covered everything on that. We'll let that be. We'll pour this one over here. Now, this is really not a review about this, more of a comparison, but we are going to see if we can tell any differences. There we go. And immediately the Abuna is much darker in color. And I used to know, they used to state the casks, kind of rough ages if I remember right on these, but it really doesn't, I don't remember. I think most of it was considered somewhere around 8-year-old whiskey, if I remember right, with a few barrels of much older whiskey, but the lion's share being younger whiskey. Glengoyne, I can't. It's hard for me to put a number. Boy, the label, because of the humidity from out here, from this coming outside the end, is really starting to pop that humidity. That label is. I babbled on almost 5 minutes and ain't even drank whiskey. It's time to drink whiskey. Oh, she be a strong one indeed, sir. She'd be a very strong one. Deep dark fruits is the first thing that hits the nose, but there is a hint of freshness here as well. What is this? Did it say whether it was Pedro Jimenez or Oloroso Buds? I don't see. We know it's definitely sherry matured though. Look at the tin real quick. Oak casks, Cooper Harris, so it comes out of Harris, Spain. So I think that's Pedro, I'm not sure. We know they come out of Harris, Spain. I don't remember if that's Pedro Jimenez or Oloroso. I think, honestly, I don't really know. I'm not going to expound upon that. But we know this is Oloroso. It says so on that. Because the nose and it's very, very viscous, very oily. It does come down a little faster than I expect it to, but there is still lots of viscosity, lots of forming there. And as we can tell, it's a little lighter color. And we're going to call this a medium amber. That's a medium +2. That's at least 2 hues darker than this one. Raisins. Deep dried dates, that fruitiness along that lines there, but then there is a lightness to it. Fresh pitted cherries, just a hint of peach, just a hint of peach. I get the raisins, dates, figs, but then there's a little brightness that comes in there, and it's fresh cherries and just a dark red cherries, like a Oregon or Washington dark red cherry. And then there's that little bit of peach coming through very nicely. And then there's a light spiciness. It's not a deep, rich spiciness backing it up in the nose. There's a nice, light, spicy note that comes through. Forgive my phone. It's just going to be what it is. Allspice, nutmeg, just a touch of coriander, just a touch of coriander. Bringing that light floralness. Forgive me. Pause. Resume. It's turned off. That's very frustrating for me. But there's just a touch of floral note in there. It's coming more like a coriander. Let's get into the palate, of course. Bit of alcohol rush, peppery, subsiding, warming the back of the throat now. It's traveling down. It's a nice when it cuts that way down like that. Very mouth-watering, very mouth-coating. Again, Rich, fruity notes. Dried dates with all that white crystal sugary coating on top. Dried dates. Raisins. More peach. A little less cherries. On this first sip, we are finishing faster than I expect. We're finishing much faster than I expect. Almost a bit of pineapple in there. That's a weird one. Don't normally get that one very often. But we're in the very tail end of that finish, and that fruitiness there is bringing just a slight bit of pineapple around. Real peppery up front. It's delivering a lot of the heavier spices right up front. Just a touch of a cedar note in there. That's the wood and a little of the youth coming through. Don't notice the coriander, but still getting the dates. It's very sugary, sweet dates. Still getting the raisin. Still getting the peach. There's a gentle spiciness backing it all up, reminiscent of nutmeg, allspice, kind of apple pie spices. And they're just gently backing it up on the sides of the tongue. And it's washing down. Surprisingly, a quicker than expected finish. It's somewhere between. It's fairly fast finish. I mean, we're done. Surprisingly, there's just ever so slight a hint left. I'm going to grate it on its own before I jump into that. It's a very nice dram. Very drinkable. It does not drink 59.8%. No. Even though it does hit you with that pepperiness up front. You wash through that wall rather quickly. The whole experience is a lot faster than I would expect. But all the flavors are there. The flavors are balanced. The flavors work together. A little bit more sweet than spicy, but in a higher proof with that pepperiness, it works better that way for me anyway. I just would like a little longer finish. It's good. It's at the price at anywhere between $65 and $70 American. It's definitely worth purchase price there. I bought it because I thought, well, that's fairly inexpensive for what it is, and glad I did. For a cask strength, that's a good price. Because we go over here, I bought it in the $79.99 range. They're up to $90 now, to $100, $99 to $100 for the most part for Aberlour. But this was an older bottle. I've got a couple other Aberlours I've not opened yet, or Abuna, or however you want to say Abuna. But don't say Abunda. Abunda is wrong. It's Abuna or Abuna. Take your pick. So we're dealing with a lot pricier product, but we're still dealing with a non-age statement product. So I think really it's fitting to compare the two. Much darker, as we can see between the two. Very much darker. 0.1% lower in alcohol. That's minimal between the two. I've not reviewed this one for you guys, so this is going to be a first. I've had it, of course, as you can tell. I drink my Aberlours very slow because they pack a punch. This runs much slower than the Glengoyne. The viscosity forms much slower, more gentle before it starts to run, and instead of forming individual tears, it probably runs a quarter to a half inch down the glass before, as a sheet, before it starts forming tears. Slightly more viscous product. Very different in so many ways. The wood comes through much more on the nose on this one. More of a nutty flavor. Oh, there's more of a almond. Then after we get past the almond and the nuttiness, then we start to develop into, again, American biscuits are different than English biscuits. But this is more like an American. This is a bread. A slightly bready note comes. Ever so slight, a buttery, bready note. Then comes the dark fruits, dates, figs. More depth level than what I'm getting there. And it's just not a color difference. This is not influencing me at all, because not marked, this could be color added. I'm not going to go there. Much lighter, much fresher nose on this, much darker, deeper nose on this. Graham crackers, that's the word. It's more of a graham cracker, it's cinnamon graham cracker. Oh yeah. Very cinnamon graham cracker, sugary cinnamon graham cracker. The dark fruits. And that nuttiness. It's going for the taste. More sharp initially on the tongue. Then as the sharpness subsides, sweeter, much sweeter on the tongue. Dark sugars, deep honey notes. Deep, rich, developing dried fruits. Touch of plum. A little more fresh plum, but all the rest of it's dried. The mouth coating, much more developed than this. It's going on. It's not stopping. Much longer finish. This is dwelling. This is hanging around. Not getting the tropical notes in this one that I'm getting in that one with the pineapple. We're still got a nice developed mouth coating. We're still hanging around. Sweetness, graham cracker, cinnamon. Developed cinnamon, nicely developed cinnamon. Even though we're not finished yet, I'm going in for the second. again. I'm not getting the cedar youth note there that I'm getting there. I bought marzipan almond paste. I bought two. I bought one that's chocolate, one that's regular. There's chocolate notes in this one. It's more like that chocolate marzipan. This is transitioning much better over the tongue than this one is. We're starting with the bit of pepper, and the bit of sharp notes up front as that quickly subsides. Nice, long, creamy mouthfeel. Fruitiness sets in. Then the cinnamon graham cracker sets in. The honey notes set in. Then it finishes with a nice chocolate marzipan. Right there. Right there in the finish. That chocolate marzipan is just, it's there. I'm enjoying this experience so much I forgot what I gave that. I think I gave this an 89. If I didn't, I'm sticking with an 89 because it's very delicious. We're going to make this an 89. But for every 89 this one is, this is a 91. This is 2, maybe a 92. 2 to 3 marks up above that one. Now, Aberlour Bunas are very batch specific. 46 was much different than 44. It wasn't, I don't know, I don't remember, but it was different. It didn't quite taste like that. The mouthfeel and mouth coating that this is bringing is superior in every way to this. That's got a good mouth coating, but it's finishes quick. It's more of a sharp up front, goes down and done. This thing here, it still feels like it's there. It's a very long video. I didn't expect it to be this long. So, you know what? I'm going to make this a 92, make that an 89. I'm going to stick with those two scores. So, Glengoyne is good. It is worth $65 to $70 range. This was definitely worth what I paid for it. I've not had any of the new batches, so I can't speak to that. If you can find the older batches though, especially like this one, I can tell you 44 is definitely a good batch. It's been open longer than this one. Maybe this one will oxidize and be like that. Definitely, I mean, I hate to see it 99 because I think that's just a little too much. I think when these are down around, I think 85 is a good price range for what you're getting here. But they market and do what they want with what they will. Alright guys, I'm not going to go on any further about this. Anyway, I'll sign off here. Remember, the spirit in your glass ain't running from you. Take your time, sip, and enjoy it. You'll be better for it, as will we are. The dog's barking at 2 kids riding bicycles over there. So, you better wrap it up before they go crazy. Talk to y'all later.